Art has to be a new creation. It has to be like birth. That is, it has to be as striking to the onlooker as a new world is. As William Carlos Williams repeats over and over again in his poetry, not a copy of nature, but a creation. I had a story running over and over again in my mind concerning a man who rides the swan boats. These held the same fixation for him as alcohol or sex would to another. You know the swan boats and he kept revisiting them throughout his life in the public gardens in Boston. They're a recurring theme, but the paddle boats that look like swans. Anyway, they have the same fixation for him as alcohol or sex would to another. His wife tries to understand. As he comes home late, she questioning reveals that he has been doing so well, staying away from the swans for nearly 3 weeks now, while the reader knows that the man is late because he had ridden the boats until nearly dark, and had only stopped because the dark had come on and the passengers left. But that night she finds the overlooked ticket stub in his pocket, and some kind of a scene follows, where all his past faults are revealed, how he couldn't hold a job because he was always late from lunch. Even when he worked downtown in the shopping center, he would rush through the common, through the contented lunchtime crowds, and planned to stay for only one ride through the lagoon. But once he got on, he was unable to get off. They even had a charge account for him. The paycheck sometimes almost completely went for this. One year, he had stayed away for nearly 7 weeks, but one of his children had heard so much talk about the swans that he whined he wanted to ride them, and they went. On the surface, he was calm, but the first chance he could, on the first false pretext, he fled back. After this, she left him bitterly. She sent him a card at Christmas with wild swans on it and gloated because she knew that the lagoon was frozen and the swans caged and the boats in dock. With the next spring, he was the first there. He got a room in the corner house on Commonwealth Avenue so he could see them with spy glasses from his room at night. And then the little money that was left from his insurance was nearly gone, and he sold his blood. And after they refused him for safety, he turned to beggaring. And then one day, without food and no shelter, his clothes in tatters about him, he ran through the park for the last time. He'd snatched a woman's purse from Tremont Street and took $1 from it, threw the contents of it onto the face of 3 little shop girls who were pointing at him, running up the street, and then entering the gardens very calmly, paid the man for 4 tickets, and sat in the last row, watching their children dragging their fingers in the yellow-brown water, listened to the mothers admonishing the children dragging their long fingers in the yellow water, and as the boat rounded the small ideal island in the center of his only world, with the 3 unused pieces of pink paper in his hand, he slid from the boat with a small splash, just where the water came over his head. Tonight is truly the coldest of the year.